crossed the bridge from Silicon Valley to being based in Europe and an active member of the Future Work Forum. My company, Next Step, has transformed many organizations from industrial age mindset into the future that I believe is rapidly emerging. And as part of that, I believe AI, technology, new ways of doing things gives us lots of new opportunities. So, yes, the world has changed, and that is a good thing for all of us as people. Ultimately, disruption, forced change leads to success. When you look at the greatest organizations going back to Citibank, General Electric, new technologies like Airbnb, Uber that have changed the way we do business, they were all founded during disruption. And leaders in all capacities have an opportunity to navigate through change, embrace AI, new ways of doing things with peace, purpose, exploration, action, collaboration, and empowerment. The framework that we have used in transforming Adobe, Microsoft, Barlow World, tons of companies around the world. And the key factor for people that succeed with change is mindset. Mindset and how you look at things. As Samarine and Graham had noted, there's times when you need to step away from the fray and think about what's really important to me and what's important to my organization. Let me tell you a story about one of our clients. There was a gentleman who grew up in India, was always known as the bright, curious, leaning in young man that wanted to learn and explore everything, had a passion for creativity. Ultimately, went to UC Berkeley and graduated with a senior degree, master's degree in engineering and computer science. Took a job at Apple, worked his way steadily up through engineering, and then joined Adobe, which was known at that time in Silicon Valley as one of the most predictable, stable technology companies in the Valley. 20 years of repetitive, predictable growth in the creative software market. And in 2007, he was promoted into his dream job. Shantanu Narayen was nominated as CEO of Adobe as the founders stepped down. However, it wasn't an easy ride because within 9 months, things started to happen. We moved into a financial recession. New technologies were brought to market. Apple released the iPad, changing the way people wanted to interface with technology, and revenue plummeted. The last software release of Adobe was a complete utter failure. Wall Street was very upset. The stock plummeted from $80 a share to $19 a share. And the founders, the board members, everyone had advice for Shantanu. Do more, discount differently, hire a new sales team, restructure the compensation plan, make people buy. But Shantanu, always that creative, thinking out of the box kind of guy, took that step back and went for a walk and probably did some good deep breathing on that walk and reflected, what is our real purpose with Adobe? What are we trying to do? And he thought back to all of the conversations with John and Chuck and the founders. And it came to his mind that the mission, the real purpose of Adobe is to enable creativity for everyone. allowing people wherever they are in the world to be able to create digital experiences anywhere, anytime. And he said, now hang on a second. There's nothing in this mission statement that says sell software, get people to buy a new release when they don't have money. And so we rethought the strategy and he rethought the business model and the fundamental day to day operations of the company. And he went back into his office and he organized his executive team and said, our purpose is not to sell software and please Wall Street. Our purpose is to enable creativity for all. And I think we need to find a new way of doing that, possibly as a service. If people won't buy a box of software, let's go ask them what they would spend to have a service through which they can access what they need, only what they need when they need it. And when people said, how are we going to do that? The answer was, we're going to explore. We're all, every 12 of us around this table and the bright people on our teams are going to go out and talk to customers and ask, what's the feature that you would most like to use? What would you be willing to spend for it? And when we get 10, 20 people that say, I want this feature in Photoshop and I'm willing to spend $10 a month, great. Let's offer that. Because the best way we can find out if it will work is to simply try it. Let's offer it not forever, but let's offer that as a deal for the next 2 months. And let's collaborate together as an executive team, but also going back to those customers and asking, how is that working for you? What other features would you like to use? Let's look at the data that we're collecting on the interactions and give them more of what they want to truly enable creativity for all and not just selling things in a box. And Shantanu was and continues to be extremely empowering. And the definition for me of empowerment is for the leader to set the North Star, the goal. Where are we going? And to give some guidelines and some parameters, but let the people figure it out. In that first meeting after his walk, when Shantanu said, in 5 years, we will be a software company. In 5 years, we will be a services company. We will no longer sell software. We will not even be remembered that way in 5 years. We'll be services. When people said, but how are we going to structure the sales comp plan? How are we going to deliver? How are we going to do service? His answer was very clear. I have no idea. But I have 12 people around this table who are bright, and you all know your business. You have people that work with you. We're going to go off and we're going to figure it out. I will set the goal 5 years and a profitable service business. And it paid off. In exactly 5 years, revenue was higher than it had ever been. Stock price was on a very rapid trajectory, reaching ultimately over $600 per share, compared to the 19 when this journey started. Disruption causes people to think out of the box. And in this day and age, when there are so many swirls and tornadoes of change, AI, is it going to take over the world? Gen Z, how do we manage them? Geopolitics, oh my God, there's tariffs. The world is coming to an end. Yes, you can get caught up in any of these swirls, but that's not going to take you forward. That's going to take you backwards. By stepping out of the swirl, thinking differently, going for that walk, doing some breathing, looking out into the night sky, and thinking about your real purpose, you can embrace change. It starts with What are we trying to achieve? What's most important for me and my organization? And how might we get there? Maybe we use AI. Let's explore. Does Claude work better than Gemini? How can we embrace Chat GPT around the business problem? And whatever tools, approaches that you take, try it. Don't talk about it. Don't overanalyze it. Just try it in a short segment, small amount, short period of time, and ultimately collaborate. No one of us is an expert on navigating into this future. We are co creating a new world that is rapidly emerging. Set that North Star and empower others with guidelines as to what they can and can't do, such as AI policies, but empower them to just simply do it, because that will take you forward into a world that is rapidly changing without fear, because you know where you're going and you have a framework that you can use to get there. And if anyone would like a PDF of that framework, I am happy to share that after the session through Peter in the Future Work Forum.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, that's a good point, because we will have copies of presentations and videos and so on. Look at futureworkforum.com website and it'll all be available via that. Thank you, Jennifer, for again reinforcing the message about leaders have to step back, think differently, and prepare for the future.